Welcome to lesson number 2. In lesson number 2, you're going to become more familiar with your SMART software. You're actually going to learn a little bit about some of the tools and a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes so that you can manufacture and change some of your SMARTboard settings and your SMART software settings. To do this, we're going to learn about two different things. The first one is the floating toolbar. The second one is the control panel. After you're done going through these, you should know enough about SMART to get started. Before we begin this next section, I want to stress one major issue, one piece of information that you should always consider as you're working with notebook software. That is, you have a bimodal life. There are two different places that you work primarily as a teacher in most cases. Sometimes you're up here in front of class and you're teaching, and that's when you're here on stage. There are other times in your life, a lot of your life, that you're probably back in your office working, plunking away at your computer. Smart Notebook has a lot of tools that you can use here on stage, but it also has some things, tips and tricks, and other tools that make more sense to use back in the actual office area. The first thing that I want to take a look at here to make you understand what I'm talking about here is the pen tool. The pen tool, if you think about it, you're not going to use the pen tool in your office. You're not going to grab this blue marker and write the word next. Okay? It just doesn't make any sense. You're going to be hokey, moving around with that mouse. It's going to be cumbersome and strange. There's really no reason to use the pen tool in your office. One of the tools that you will definitely want to use while you're back here in your office working on your lesson planning would be the text tool located up here on the top. If I click on the text tool and then down here, I can begin typing in whatever I want, and I can create my lesson in a hurry this way. When I'm back in the classroom, I have to use the on-screen keyboard. It's a little bit hokey, a little bit clunky, not something you want to do in front of your class. Text tool, definitely an in-the-office tool. Back on stage, another thing that I certainly would use would be something like a magnifying glass. If I grab that this magic wand tool that you're about to look at here in a few minutes, and I draw a box like so, you'll see that I have what's called a magnifying glass. The magnifying glass, you can move around and point out certain critical issues on a page. Okay? For instance, if I wanted them to take a look at, go to the email section here, I would definitely make use of this in the classroom. This is someplace where I would make use or make sure that I integrate this magnifying glass while I'm up here on stage. If I go back to my office, what in the world do I need a magnifier for? This tool is designed for the classroom. The second tool that makes a lot more sense to use here in your office is the animation of an object tool. So I can click on the object, go in here, pick the different style or effect, pick the object animation. I want this thing to fly in. There it comes, sweeping across my screen, all within a couple of clicks of a simple mouse button and a few possible keyboard selections, and I'm done. I've created my object animation. In front of class, this would take much more time, and your students would be sitting there waiting for you to accomplish this or finish this up. Object animation, definitely an office tool. Here we are in the classroom, and we're going to take care of two major things right now. We're going to take care of the toolbar, and we're going to take care of the control panel. If you know anything about any program that you've ever used in your life, you know that toolbars are the way to go. Toolbars do just that. They contain all the tools that you're going to use within that program. SMARTboard actually takes that one step farther and lets us use that toolbar outside of their software. It's a magical little piece that you can use anytime you are on your computer. And if you zoom right in here, you're going to take a look at exactly where that toolbar is. This is called the floating toolbar, and you're going to see why in just one second. If we double click, or click one time actually, on that double-sided arrow, you'll notice that the floating toolbar actually pops its head out here. And now I can take a hold of this little part right here, the little waffle iron, and move my floating toolbar literally to a floating position.